Welcome back, True Seeker. Shout out to Rick James in Las Vegas. He asked if I would watch this video about a researcher who goes by the name John E. Hoover, who is very unhappy about an interview that was done earlier this year with Tucker Carlson and Ian Carroll. What a surname, Carroll. You guys might notice Ian Carroll hasn't posted in a while. He stopped posting after his 201st video, and it was a great one. How America's going down. Anyway, the reason Johnny Hoover's mad about the interview is because Ian Carroll, right in the beginning, says, I wasn't even in the truth community when the Las Vegas shooting happened. But hey, there's some people that did some great research out there, and I'm aware of some of it. I'm not going to give any names out of whose research I'm copying, but thanks for bringing me on, Tucker, to present other people's findings. And this Johnny Hoover's not happy about it because Ian Carroll's presenting a lot of his information. And Ian Carroll, he has a ton of subscribers. Joe Rogan brought him on, Tucker Carlson, Candace Owens, all these plants in the truth community. And this is what annoys me about humanity is they can't figure out the way it works. But seriously, why isn't Tucker Carlson bringing on Johnny Hoover? Or why isn't he bringing on yours truly? Because as far as I know, I'm the only person in the world who told everybody to look out for what happened exactly when we said it was going to happen. I was deleted for the first time from YouTube on Elon Musk's birthday, June 28th, 2017, and I was a broken record all throughout the early part of that year that watch out the way Yom Kippur falls this year. I said, we're going to see the biggest false flag in this country since September 11th. And that's exactly what happened. Yom Kippur is about atonement for your sins. And what got shot up? Sin City. So if you're not aware of the John E. Hoover channel, he looks legit. He thinks he has the best research in the world on the Vegas shooting, and I'm sure it's great, but sorry, John, I exist in the world, and I guarantee you your research hasn't connected the dots like yours truly. Not to make it a pissing match, it's just most of you guys, you just don't know what's going on. At the end of the day, you just don't. So, again, I got to keep it real, but I'll still give you a shot, John E. Hoover, but I know you weren't calling this out before it happened like yours truly. And anyway, I'm going to show you who Ian Carroll really is, why this plant is chosen, why Kabbalah bracelet wearer Tucker Carlson brings on a kid who doesn't really like. Why would you bring on somebody who didn't bring anything to light about the Vegas shooting? By the time the Vegas shooting happened, you guys, I was like on my 10th channel. And my first one was deleted June 28, 2017. They were deleting me almost every week, every other week at that point, YouTube. It was just madness. It was madness. And of course, now we've had 25 channels deleted to date on YouTube, not to mention all the other deletions on other platforms, including getting deleted on X as soon as this new Trump administration came into power. Again, 5,000 people on the last live stream. Not bad, not bad. And then deleted, boom, right after. But anyway, let's go through Ian Carroll, who's frozen right now on 201 posts. And you know what? Just in case somebody thinks it's some old image or something, let me just pull up his YouTube channel. Ian Carroll, I'm going to show you what a Jesuit plant this guy is. And of course, it's the Jesuits who pretty much run every false flag operation in this country, including what happened on the Las Vegas Strip during the Jason Aldean concert, which was foretold in his music video. But yeah, here's Ian Carroll's channel right now, 201 videos, okay? His last video was alive on March 27th, the 86th day of the year, called America is Going to War and We're Going to Lose. And of course, everything going on with the U.S. and Israel, two Jesuit-controlled states, is all by this same old code. So anyway, he's on 201 videos, and he's taken his longest break since he came on the scene. And what's he call his show? He calls it the Ian Carroll Show, which equals 201 and 84, like the Jesuit order. And again, if you're new here, you learn about this 201 code, you start to see who's really running the show, such as Event 201 on the day of the Military World Games in Wuhan, China, to simulate Cooties 19, such as The Twin Towers, or two, that were crumbled into zero before they became one, and really a million other things. How about how about what just happened the other night at the White House Correspondents' Dinner, 201 days from the leader of the Jesuits' birthday? They're calling it the White House Correspondents' Dinner shooting. Whoops, I got an extra N in there. White House Correspondents' Dinner shooting, 201. And again, if you're new here, these are the 4 base ciphers of the English language. You got to know all 4. They're all important, but just understand, this is the 201 gang that runs the show. And of course, the surname Carroll, only the most important Catholic family in U.S. history, the only Catholic signer on the Declaration of Independence, a Carroll, John Carroll, the Jesuit who founded Georgetown just before the inauguration of George Washington, and on and on and on. So Carroll, very Jesuit name. And look at this. It's ironic. Today is the 3rd anniversary of his YouTube channel being created. He's only been around for 3 years. And funny enough, the day his channel was created was 167 days after the leader of the Jesuits' birthday, Arturo Sosa. And remember what we just had the other day. Yesterday was 4 days after his birthday. Again, the shooting was 201 days to his upcoming birthday. And then Cole Allen. It was 164 days after his last birthday, a ritual for number 47 on what would have been the 79th day of Ronald Reagan's age, 34 days before John Hinckley's birthday anniversary. And it's total justification for the ballroom. Anyway. Ian Carroll, he just happened to set up his channel 167 days after the Superior General's birthday. And then all of a sudden, everybody just wants to have him on. Man, that guy's mustache is great. Bring him on. You might not know anything about anything, but bring him on. He's got a great mustache. So yeah, he had to post his 201st video on the 86th day of the year. There's another little Jesuit joke. Jesuits 86, run it the other way, 103, like Ian Carroll. His interview with Tucker Carlson, where he went on and said, listen, I don't really understand I don't think like anything came out of he says like all the time, like, I don't think like anything came out of the Vegas shooting. I don't really get it. But then in the hour mark, all of a sudden, it's weird. It starts off like he's real naive. He has no idea what's going on. But then an hour into it, he's got it all pinned on Saudi Arabia. Saudi Arabia did the Las Vegas shooting. It's like, what the hell? Saudi Arabia? Are you out of your mind, you idiot? You plant. But all kinds of things came out of the Route 91 Harvest Festival shooting on the day, leaving 91 days left in the year. By the way, at the Jason Aldean concert, 201 on the Las Vegas Strip, 201. And remember, I told you guys, I pointed it out at the time. I mean, I was all over all this. Hefner, he has a street down there. Hugh Hefner, Mr. Playboy, has a street named after him right by where the shooting was. He died at 91 on September 27th, the anniversary of the Jesuits being recognized by the Roman Catholic Church, 4 days before the mass shooting on the day, leaving 91 days left there at the Route 91 Harvest Festival shooting. But anyway, this guy at the beginning going like, I don't know. I mean, not really anything happened. It's kind of okay. Trump right after that said he said he wanted to expand red flag laws. He said, I like take the guns first, due process second. And the whole thing was synced with Trump, by the way, as well. It was Trump's first year in office, the Jesuit educated stooge that he is he went to Fordham, put in by the numbers. And don't forget who told you back in 2015 at the first GOP debate, it looked like they were installing the orange clown, all from understanding these numbers. But anyway, it's just this whole thing is embarrassing. And it's annoying that these people have become the face of the truth community and they don't offer any truth. They don't know anything about anything. They're here as plants to give you misdirection. Why does Tucker Carlson have him on? He sounds like a bumbling fool at the beginning. He doesn't know what came out of it. How about do a little research? More bullshit, gun laws, red flag laws, bump stock ban, yada, yada, yada. Okay? But anyway, yeah, Hugh. They took out Hugh, who was known for that red and black smoking jacket, just like the Jesuit color schemes, the red and black. And as we talked about at the time, Hugh Hefner's birthday was the same birthday as Stephen Paddock. Stephen Paddock's birthday is also April 9th, if you look it up. And notice from Hefner's birthday to his death was the 172nd day of his age. Like the Jesuit motto and Merum Dei Gloriam is 172. Again, he died on the most important day in the history of the Jesuits, the day that the Vatican authorized them and financed them and made them bigger than ever. But also Playboy Bunny and Playboy Magazine 172. And don't forget, the Jesuit fingerprints are all over pornography. The language, remember, the language in the calendar goes back to the Jesuits. But yeah, pornography's got the 153, 72, 144. Jesuit order has the 153, 72, 144. And, he was a porn king, was Hugh Hefner. And then, some people might say you better atone for jerking off to those Playboy magazines, but Yom Kippur, again, this was all synced up with Yom Kippur. Yom Kippur, it only falls on the date it fell on every 19 years because the Jewish holidays are synced up with the moon. Remember, the Jesuits are a Catholic Jewish alliance. But yeah, again, the Jesuits, the formal title is the Society of Jesus. So this Route 91 Harvest Festival shooting on the day, leaving 91 days left in the year right after Hefner dies at 91. On the big Jesuit day, and then better yet, October 1st, the 274th day of the year, Isus Hominum Salvator, the Jesuit motto, 274, the one that's in their logo. The two most prominent Jesuit mottos are in Merum Dei Gloriam and Isus Hominum Salvator. And then maybe third place would be Both into One, which Georgetown uses for their motto, kind of like 201. But remember, they said Stephen Paddock was on the 32nd floor. Again, this bullshit made-up story. But there's 32 sun rays on the Jesuit Order's logo. Kind of like when the Dodgers and the rigged MLB broke the drought, the 32-year drought, they did it versus the Rays. And just for the record, about Ian Carroll, we'll throw in some Ian Carroll fast facts as we go here, and we'll start to see why he was chosen to give this interview on Tucker Carlson. His last post, just for the record, was the 322nd day of his age. Remember, the Illuminati was founded by the Jesuit Adam Weishaupt May 1st, 1776. Ian Carroll's birthday is May 10th, not far away. But notice the Ian Carroll show. Notice how it overlaps with the Order of Illuminati. 201, 258. Again, there's a lot of rituals with these numbers if you're new here. We're going to talk about the 93 in a minute. We already talked about the 84. Notice the 105 as well, because Ian Carroll's birthday can be written 10/5, 10th of May. Again, the numbers are so important to the cabal. So I do wonder if Ian Carroll's literally a descendant of these families. It wouldn't surprise me in the least. He could also just be chosen because he's got the right name and is a perfect useful idiot to be a plant and a willing stooge to go out there and say things like the Las Vegas shooting was done by Saudi Arabia. Oh my God. Oh my God, right when you think you've heard of it all. But anyway, just to remind you, 93, if you were following me that whole year, I was talking about why 93 was so important. The Yom Kippur that year fell on the day leaving 93 days left in the year. Yom Kippur is about atonement for your sins. Yom Kippur has to do with judgment. Saturn, the keeper of time, is associated with things like judgment and atonement and also harvesting. The sickle of Saturn, the symbol, has the Grim Reaper scythe, and of course the scythe is known for harvesting. And, in this case, they were harvesting human souls. And if you don't know what a paddock is, the Patsy Stephen paddock. A paddock is where you keep animals, like where you herd a bunch of animals. Think about when people go to a concert, how they're packed in. They're packed into the paddock. Anyway, the Tucker Carlson interview was 93 days after the anniversary of the Route 91 Harvest Festival shooting, just like 93 was a big number in the ritual. And just for the record, Harvest and Saturn have the 93 and 42, and the shooting was 42 days before the Superior General's birthday, the leader of the Jesuits. And with regards to this Carroll kid, John Carroll founded Georgetown by the numbers. And you see how Yom Kippur equates to 144 and 54, just like Jesuit order without the. Remember, John Carroll founded Georgetown at age 54. And of course, the Jesuit headquarters is the Church of the Jesu, Building 54. And of course, and They Live with Roddy Piper. Cable 54 is the enemy of the world. Roddy Piper tweeted on September 27th that They Live was a documentary, and he ended up dying on the anniversary of Ignatius Loyola's death. That film also came out 201 days after Roddy Piper's birthday. Came out on November 4th. Roddy Piper, I know he was born in 54. Roddy Piper date of birth, April 17th, just so you can see it. April 17th, 1988. That's the year They Live came out. 201 days after Roddy Piper's birthday. They Live release date, November 4th. And remember who told you Diddy was going down at age 54? Diddy has the November 4th birthday too. Diddy went down to age 54. I told you. Same Jesuit Georgetown educated lawyer that took down R. Kelly at age 54. And don't forget, R. Kelly got sentenced on the big Jesuit date, September 27th. And then Diddy got sentenced on the anniversary of OJ being acquitted. And don't forget, OJ Simpson got released from prison or in jail, or was it jail or prison, one of the two, in Las Vegas the day of the Yom Kippur shooting. Or not Yom Kippur. It was right after Yom Kippur ended, but the day of the Route 91 Harvest Festival shooting. Anyway, just this whole Illuminati thing. Again, the Jesuit Adam Weishaupt founded the Illuminati. This Illuminati code's all over Ian Carroll's show. Remember, they superimposed a 13 on Stephen Paddock's neck. And this was the image that everyone used when it first happened. Everyone used this same image of Stephen Paddock. Eyes closed, like eyes wide shut. What's that about? A superimposed 13 on his neck. Remember, as we talked about then, the shooting was 13 days after the CIA's 70th birthday, Vatican 70. The Jesuits served the Vatican. They said he was in room 135 on floor 32, Central Intelligence Agency, 135. And just with regards to the CIA, if you're new here, it was founded on the 201st day of the sitting Pope's age. National Intelligence 201, like Catholic Pope, like the Jesuit Order. The CIA's motto is the work of a nation, the center of intelligence, which equals 201. Central Intelligence Agency, United States of America, the words in their logo, 201. I hope you're watching, John E. Hoover. You got this more figured out than I do, buddy? If so, we need to compare notes. Because this is what goes on all day, every day. And just for the record, the FBI that was there just coming up with all kinds of bullshit. It was the 68th day of the FBI's age. You know, we didn't have goofball Cash Patel back then. But it was the 68th day of the FBI's age, CIA 68. Everything went down in 1968. Fentanyl approved by the feds. Corona virus coined as seasonal flu. Look it up. World Trade Center construction began in New York. 911 made the national emergency dialing code. Bunch of things. George W. Bush got out of Skull and Bones. And when 9/11 happened, it happened on the 68th day of George W. Bush's age. His daddy was at the CIA in 68. But yeah, the CIA supersedes the FBI. So go figure that it was the 68th day of the FBI's age as well. Go figure that Ian Carroll also equals 68. And funny enough, from Ian Carroll's birthday to the interview on January 2nd about this thing, 237 days. Stephen Paddock, 237. The prime factors of 42. Remember, Harvest, Saturn, Jesuit, Georgetown. The prime factors of 42 are 2, 3, and 7. And just for the record, from the first Jesuit Pope taking his throne until that ritual that has the Jesuit fingerprints all over it was 237 weeks and 4 days, and 4 is the big number of death. Just like how, Hefner would have died 237 weeks after the Pope took his throne. And then again, 4 days after Hefner's death, 4 days after the big Jesuit anniversary, the chaos unfolded. And I just got to share something too, just from my own family story. For people who were following me back then, you might recall I was actually going to I have a cousin who's old enough to be my dad. His daughter's just a little bit younger than me, but they were there at the shooting as a family. And my cousin's daughter was going to come on my show back when I did TFR and share her information from being there that day, but then she decided not to do it. I found it real suspicious that they were there because this cousin of mine is the biggest mystery in our family. I really just wish, I hope someday before one of us dies, I can find out what the truth of this man is. When he was in high school, his high school basketball coach would go with him everywhere outside of school. Anytime we had a family get together, his high school basketball coach would be there. And his high school basketball coach ended up becoming a principal in time, but they were attached at the hip. And my cousin, the one I'm talking about who was here, he's just a total asshole, dickhead, really a horrible human being. And when he got out of college, he quickly became the principal of his own old high school, which is weird because I mean, he's like the youngest principal ever. And anyway, now he is one of the higher ups in the entire state of Washington. You could end up looking up who my cousin is. He's in charge of athletics for the state of Washington for at the high school level. And it's like, what was going on? I mean, was this old man who became principal? Was he like fucking my cousin? Like, what's going on? How did he climb the ladder so fast? My cousin's an ass. Anyway, it just does make me wonder because they were here, and it makes me wonder who else was here. And if you remember at the time when this happened, the people that they were interviewing at the show, you could tell it was just like crisis cast. Jeff Young and I had a falling out. You know, Jeff Young, we've come back together. And by the way, hold on. Jeff Young texted me today. He asked if I would let people know that he's got a upcoming concert. But Jeff Young and I had a temporary falling out after this because Jeff was living in Vegas at the time. And I was saying, listen, Jeff, everything I'm seeing on TV, this looks fake as hell. But Jeff was getting mad. He's like, no, Zach, people got killed. I know it. And I was like, he was getting mad that I didn't trust him. When they do these psychological operations, they do make it so that it just drives everybody insane. But no doubt they did use crisis cast and just like goofy actors and people were smiling and ketchup down on the floor. But anyway, I just think about, I wonder how many people like my cousin were there. People that are probably somehow, some way connected to the clique one way or another. They have some kind of blackmail on them. Hold on. All right. He didn't send me the full text. Jeff has a concert coming up May 1st. It probably is in a city like Vegas. Kings of Thrash. Kings of Thrash is the band Jeff's going on tour with, but he said show coming up May 1st. Anyway, yeah, Jeff Young and I had a little falling out of that period. We'd known each other and done a bunch of shows from 2015. Again, the first show we ever did was calling out how Prince was going to die soon, right after Vanity died the day of the 58th Grammys, and of course Prince died on 4/21. Like I would die for you, you the 21st letter. Prince called it out 33 years in advance that he'd die on Rome's birthday, 4/21, the Queen's birthday, who was still kicking at the time. But yeah, just in terms of how you can just see these things are major psychological operations. Eminem, another pawn on the world stage, like he told you in his early days, he stole Cage's flow. Cage, it's just like that's the way the world works. Eminem ripped off another rapper who never got any acclaim or credit. But then it's just like Ian Carroll. It's like, why is this guy getting all the recognition? He didn't even do any of the research. Anyway, if you recall, Eminem did a music video about the Route 91 Harvest Festival shooting called Darkness, which equals 91. And this is just par for the course in show business. And the music video and song was released 91 days after his 47th birthday. And remember, they initially reported that Stephen Paddock had 47 guns. Like I'm always talking about, learn this 47 code. These secret societies studying the 47th problem of Euclid. That was also 13 weeks. 91 is the 13th triangular number. And on the calendar, 91 days is 13 weeks, going with Stephen Paddock's 13 on his neck and it being 13 days after the CIA's anniversary of establishment. But yeah, Eminem paid tribute to it on his album Music to Be Murdered By. Music to Be Murdered By. And that was in tribute to Alfred Hitchcock's comedic monologues from 1958. Remember, they first reported that 58 died, and it was 58 days from the governor's birthday, Brian Sandoval. He had an August 5th birthday, 58 dead. Not to mention he was 54 at the time. Jesuit order, Yom Kippur, John Carroll, Ian Carroll. But yeah, and again, 58's the big Freemason code. Modern Freemasonry is a Jesuit creation. The G gang serves the ones at the Church of the Jesu in Building 54. And yeah, in the music video, they showed Door 135, like Central Intelligence Agency. By the way, the head of the CIA at the time was GematriaEffectNews. Another 135. And then Eminem at the end advocating for people to do something about gun control. Make your voice heard and help change gun laws in America. I heard Ian Carroll say to Tucker Carlson, this didn't have anything to do with, changing gun laws or a gun grab. All of these things are a total drop in the bucket for both undermining the First and Second Amendment. It's like how they wiped out 1 million of our channels for exposing this kind of stuff. And just for the record, Slim Shady 133, like Las Vegas, Nevada, like government. Don't forget where Jason Aldean's tattoo factored in with this. He's got the black sun. Chris Cornell had died that year. It was the year of the Great American Solar Eclipse. Chris Cornell born on the 201st day of the year, black hole sun 201. Then on Chris Cornell's birthday anniversary after he'd supposedly hung himself. Don't forget, Chester Bennington from Lincoln Park supposedly hung himself on Cornell's birthday, the 201st day of the year. But Cornell, also the last song he ever played was In My Time of Dying, the Led Zeppelin song. Not a Soundgarden song, not an Audio Slave song, not a song he did with Timbaland. The Led Zeppelin song, In My Time of Dying. Quite suspicious. From the Great American Solar Eclipse, which looks like what Aldean's tattoo was about. To the shooting was 41 days, the 13th prime. Las Vegas is a card in the Illuminati card game. And let me see. This is this right here, the Jason Aldean music video. He did the song When She Says Baby, which corresponds with his birthday being the 59th day of the year. But in this music video, let me go down. They're driving through Vegas, and there's these words, everything gonna be all right, just lay down by my side. And remember, that's what they said everyone did. Everyone that was in the paddock, packed in like farm animals, they hit the deck. They hit the ground and laid down and hope they wouldn't get shot next. But yeah, talk about predictive programming. So yeah, I mean, saying Saudi Arabia did it, laughable. Laughable. Tucker Carlson bringing on a guy that wasn't even in the truth community, who hadn't done any research on it, laughable. Shows you these people are plants. How about bring on Zachary K. Hubbard, who'd warned everybody all year up and down that there was going to be a major false flag event right around the time of Yom Kippur. And I said it over and over. This is going to be the biggest false flag since 9/11. And it didn't disappoint. Oh, yeah. Eminem was 47 when he put out that song. Like they said, he had 47 guns. Oh, yeah. Do you remember the Borderline bar and grill shooting hoax where they said a lot of the Vegas survivors were at that night? Oh, my God. All of these related psyops. Oh, my God. Hold on. What was I just thinking of? Let me see if I still have this post. Paddock, 47 guns. Somebody wanted his guns destroyed on 47 date numerology. Talking about the 58 killed. By the way, another important point about this, you guys, and it matters for right now too. Mandalay Bay Casino. You see the 101 and the 61? Look at Assassin. 10161. Remember the supposed would-be assassin at the White House Correspondents' Dinner? His birthday's April 11th, 4/11, like JFK shot from 411 Elm Street. But that's also the 101st day of the year. And of course, it was a hoax, just like Charlie Kirk in Orem, Utah, another 101. So yeah, the Mandalay Bay Casino, because it was October 1st, 10/1. But hold up. Oh, I should have just scrolled down a little bit. Oh yeah, casino is also 101. Hold on. I know that they initially reported he had 47 guns. Maybe it's in this article right here, and I'm just being too lazy, and I'm not seeing the 47. I know they reported the damn guy had at least 47 guns. I know that was the report. I was like, good God, again. Oh, right here. It's right here. Right here. By the time he opened fire from the 32nd floor of the Mandalay Bay Hotel, Paddock had amassed a collection of at least 47 guns. Again, the Masons, the 47th problem, Euclid, the Vatican, the 4770 institution. Again, this ritual was synced with the CIA's 70th birthday. The CIA established in 47. Anyway, yeah, if you guys want to check out John E. Hoover, seems like he has some good video editing skills, and he's making the point right off the bat because Ian Carroll's talking about like, yeah, you know, like I didn't do any research on it, but so he's like, so why the hell would Tucker Carlson ever bring you on to talk about it? Because he's a plant. He's probably part of the Carroll family. Ian Carroll, he leads you to the Vegas shooting was the work of Saudi Arabia. It's just, oh man, God, I hate these people. And you know what? It was 41 days after Jason Aldean's birthday. He brings up that it could have been Al Qaeda too. Saudi Arabia is 41, just like Al Qaeda, just for the record, since Jason Aldean was performing. So maybe that's the script they gave him. Look, go out there with your mustache. The mustache will give you cover. They won't question your Saudi Arabia outcome. But also, as I watched it, I was like, why didn't he start off with this? How come he start off like he had no idea about anything? And then all of a sudden, an hour in, all of a sudden, he's pinning it on Saudi Arabia? He said in some of the footage, it looked like the Crown Prince was there. I'm sure the Crown Prince of Saudi Arabia was running around on the ground with an AR. Oh, God, man. I hate that the world is this way. You cannot be, no greatness can be recognized. All that can be recognized are the plant stooges that probably sacrificed their mom and their uncle to, so they can be on the world stage. And this Ian Carroll guy, I mean, you can't find anything about him. I mean, where'd he come from? He's like anonymous. He's anonymous. Don't forget, Anonymous likes to wear the Guy Fawkes mask, which is another thing. It's part of the Jesuit plot to kill King James. Like how the Trump rigged selection in 2024 was on the anniversary of the Jesuits trying to kill King James. And don't forget that, the 2024 election was 144 days after Trump's birthday. Jesuit educated for him, on and on and on. Don't forget, he sacrificed his ex-wife exactly 60 weeks into the first Jesuit Ignatian year on the day that he said he'd run the 60th election, and then he buried her on the 201st day of the year. And Joe Biden did the same thing. He sacrificed Beau Biden 201 days before Pope Francis' birthday. The Jesuit priest from Georgetown, who was the 42nd head of Georgetown, Leo Jeremiah O'Donovan, did the funeral and the inauguration. And of course, inauguration day is on the 201st day of the nation's age when you measure from July 4th, which is a date that can be written 20/1. And again, just to make the point, one more time, inauguration of the president of the United States. Look it up. That's what it's on the U.S. government website. That's what they call that day. Inauguration of the President of the United States, 201. So, yeah. if you don't think it's the Jesuits doing all this, and if you don't think it's the Jesuits that even have these plants out here like Ian Carroll, who's taken a long pause after his 201st video where he said America's finished. And you know, all the dopes in the truth community say it's Bibi Netanyahu who's controlling America. Nope, wrong. State of Israel. It's all 201 rituals from the beginning, including the death of David Ben Gurion, the first prime minister, 201 days after the anniversary of the nation's establishment. Because with Netanyahu stepping down on June 13th, the day leaving 201 days left in the year, and then coming back on 12/29, like 1229, the 201st prime, which is Albert Pike's birthday, who wrote the letter about 3 world wars to come and dated it August 15th, 1871, which is the day in history the Jesuits were born in Paris, France. August 15th is. And again, the third world war to be centered on political Zionism, so go figure. Of course, that state of Israel 201 only exists because of the other Jesuit instigated wars. And of course, the Jesuit fingerprints are all over the SS. And of course, supposedly the Jesuits tried to kill Hitler on the 201st day of the year. And then we brought over the Nazi scientists to America on July 20th, the 201st day of the year. And then next thing you know, Nazi scientists had us landing on the moon. So we're told on the 201st day of the year with Neil Alden Armstrong 201 walking around. And of course, that was foretold in the Twilight Zone, the first episode about putting a man on the moon. Anyway, the point I'm making is they're controlling all this shit, you guys. Every major conspiracy, 9/11, 201 all over it. Moon landing, 201 all over it. Cooties 19, simulator of the event 201. And really a whole lot more. But yeah, Ian Carroll takes a big pause after 201 videos. Jesus. Yeah, Ian Carroll. I mean, you must be getting some money. If you're gonna have tattoos on your arm, get some ones that don't look like dog shit, my man. Jesus. I know you're getting good ad revenue, all these videos, getting huge views. This guy probably gets 50 G's a month at least off YouTube ad revenue, putting out nothing but shit like Saudi Arabia did Vegas. Probably underestimating how much ad revenue he's getting. Probably a lot more than that. So get some better tattoos. Those things are ugly as hell. Anyway, yeah, I'm going to leave it there, but it does make me sick. It does make me sick how controlled this world is and how dumb people are and how people think this stuff's a coincidence as the examples are everywhere. Ian Carroll. Hey, little bird, thanks for becoming a member. Was it the big booty gematria? By the way, we had a mass exodus of subscribers. I think it was some of the new people that came around here. They didn't like the big booty gematria. They must not have a sense of humor. Whatever. Adios. Adios. It's not like having subscribers makes a difference anyway because they don't even get a notification. All right. We'll leave it there for now, Truth Seeker. Stop watching these plants. Stop recommending their videos to me. If something has big views on YouTube, you can automatically deduct it must be a load of shit because that's the only thing that's allowed to get views. That and big booties. So anyway, if you're disappointed there isn't any big booty in this video, tune back in tomorrow. I'll find another one. All right, Truth Seeker. Till next time.